Hello and welcome to Got the Text. Today's date is August 8th, and the title of our devotional is called Believe It. Our verse is found in Luke 1:37. For nothing is impossible with God. You've probably seen plenty of bumblebees. Hopefully, you haven't been stung by one. Have you ever stopped to think about how it can fly? Everyone except the bumblebee itself knows that a bumblebee can't fly. Its body is too big for such small wings, and furthermore, it isn't particularly streamlined like the wasp, wrote Robert W. Husband in his article on bumblebees for Entomology Notes. He isn't the first person to point out the impracticality of bumblebees and flight. In fact, there's an ongoing debate over who first said the bumblebee can't fly when it obviously can. Several people are credited with it making the statement, but no one knows for sure. What everyone seems to agree on is that there is no way anything as bumbling as the bumblebee ought to be able to fly, based on mathematical models. A submarine would have about as much chance at flying if you clapped a pair of glider wings on it. Yet the bumblebee flies, quite well in fact. It travels about 10 feet, or 3 meters, per second and beats its wings about 130 times per second. This ought to tell us something. First, it should tell us that we shouldn't look only at the outside of something when we are drawing our conclusions. We should never size up a problem and write it off. If we do that, we aren't taking into consideration that God is involved in everything in our lives and that nothing is impossible with God. Second, we should never underestimate God. Just because our minds are large enough to know God does not mean that we should limit God by the size of our minds. God is so much bigger, wiser, and more complex than we are able to grasp. Rather than pulling God down to our level, let's open our minds and hearts and reach up to Him. The researchers and scientists didn't really prove that a bumblebee can't fly. It proved that there's a big difference between the way something behaves on paper, in theory, and in real life, in reality. Just because something looks impossible to us does not mean that it is. Things may look one way, but God can make them turn out another. We have to remember that when God is in our lives, nothing is impossible. Thanks for watching Got the Text. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.